Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on Comet Catcher remake, and as you can see, Christmas time has started in Beyond All Reason with this lovely Cortex Christmas Commander. And on this map, again, very low wind, basically 0. So we're going to be seeing players building only solars and different types of solars. And Xfactor or Darth even needs no introduction, but his opponent may do. Ikriest playing as Armada today with that lovely bag of presents on the back of that Armada commander, ready to bring joy to Xfactor's base as he blows it up. Now, Ikriest here with the normal Comet Catcher start, which is the 2 mexes with a solar and then the LLT, needing to protect his base in the back area and then go on to another solar, the long walk to the 3rd mex and then into the factory. Whereas Darth Revan Xfactor has been stylizing this build order more as of late, and that is setting up the base back here rather than getting this very forward one. We can see he's actually slowly microing his commander here to push out scouts, move, push out scout, move, push out scout, move. And he's gotten clearly a number that he wanted to reach before he gets this next one. And already massive build order difference. There is indeed a massive build order difference. And very strangely is that we see Xfactor here with no constructor assist in the factory, mainly due to the amount of rascals that is being built. We can see here that repeat is currently off. So if we hold shift space here, we can see this is his build queue. And the constructor here will be here to assist the factory for the incisive production. Whereas we can see over on the opposite side, the con is already here assisting. And this LLT has stopped this early raid of Xfactor already. And what Coochie is trying to say here is that this LLT has used 2,400 build power. So this is, rather than using on something else early on, it's there to defend, but it's whether it's actually going to do that much damage overall to make it worth it. We can see that Xfactor here hasn't gone for a single defense up until now. The idea being that if any units do happen to get here, he will be using his own units to defend. So rather than having to build a defensive structure as such, his units do the job for him. Now, that already may not be paying off, as we see these scouts managing to make it down to the bottom. It all depends on how these scouts get microed, whether they out DPS Xfactor's ones, which they do not, because they were too busy shooting that constructor, the excavator. Now on the opposite side here, these guys are unable to do too much either due to the fact that there's an LLT there. Now in the early raids, LLTs will stop scouts. And as Razor comments here, yes, no one expanding forward with their commanders. This map used to be pretty common for, we're talking like maybe a year ago now, but it used to be pretty common for commanders to walk here and walk like this. And then the fight would basically be along this diagonal. And it would kind of stop like that. That's kind of where the map would be drawn. But we're seeing more and more of players keeping their commanders in base and using other things to expand. The build power that a commander has is just such a strong amount that it's really not something to shy away from. And Razor literally just commenting what I was saying about... Like, it literally was the known thing, but yeah, Darth Raven has been trying to change things up a little bit for a while now, trying different methods, and it's commented pretty well in a lot of tournaments. And unfortunately, we did miss the attack up here. It did do pretty well at taking out that LLT, which is unfortunate because I think what actually happened is that Ikriest actually attacked it from 2 different directions at the same time, forcing the LLT to not be able to turn and fire on the other things that managed to kill it pretty quickly. Some misuse of blitzes here, though, as they don't kind of get that properly. Ooh, and lots of loss here. Ikriest managing to get 2 solars, metal extractor, 3 solars, 4 solars. And now massive energy stall for Xfactor here as he loses total of 4 solars and a 2 metal extractors is a big loss. He does cause some problems down here at least, but it's not the end of the world as that gets cleaned up. There is still a constructor left alive. It's not like he killed the constructor. But meanwhile, if we just take a zoom out, we can see so far that Ikriest has expanded pretty much everywhere on this line, whereas Xfactor is just down in this corner. Now, technically, Xfactor is further ahead into the center of the map, but it doesn't take much for Xfactor just to build a wall here, build some LLTs, which we do see this quite often, and then that's it. Go home. And also, Ikriest is losing more and more units. He is attempting raids, which is doing well. He does manage to pick up the constructor there. But he's doing more and more raids where he just keeps losing these units. Like these guys down here are getting 0 value, and that is purely down to a lack of APM to deal with this. Apparently, this has This game maybe has some unit tweak on that Striker's talking about. Unfortunately, it's pretty impossible for me to see any tweaks that are on a game before recording or even before downloading the replay. Ideally, there would be something on the replay website that would say, you know, modded or something like that. But all it comes up with is basically a bunch of plain text, and it's, you know, impossible to read. This may be testing the new season changes though, because those blitz firing does seem a lot quicker. Now Xfactor does manage to catch the expansion con of Ikriest here, which is good. But you can see how little LLTs really do in the grand scheme of things against vehicles. And now a big hole has appeared on the bottom. Ikriest has lost all of his southward expansion. Now both players are pretty close to being on the same. Takes out the radar though on that bottom side. Is going to leave Xfactor a bit in the dark. Or not. Maybe he's got a radar in the center. Blitzes are trying to get away. Don't think they're going to manage to escape. But I'm wondering how much metal he's actually leaving on the ground from all of these raids so far. 740 metal in the south is quite a lot of metal. And just as the players up here are saying, huge army value difference. And this is what we've been saying, is that Ikriest is losing a lot of units to raids, but he's not really getting that much in the way of value from it. He's making opportunities. But we see here that, you know, Xfactor has made an attack here, and he's managed to get 2 metal extractors, 3 metal extractors before losing, you know, 8 incisors. And then again in the center here, Moving in, takes out 2 LLTs, gets a single max, I think. Yep. And 3 LLTs. Ikriest really been pouring in the metal into LLTs. But yeah, it's not looking good. Xfactor now getting that 700 metal at the bottom and all the metal in the center as well. Blitz is getting some, I mean, this is getting some good value. This single Blitz managing to get 2 metal extractors. It's going to try and retreat now. Picking up another metal extractor on its way out. But this is more important here. Xfactor, unable to pay attention, gets his incisor force surrounded and taken out. And back down here, this single Blitz is still going strong. It has got intercepted down, fortunately, and does go down as another attack goes forth. Ikriest manages to get the expansion constructor that was in the center. It's one of 2, though. This was one further forward up here. And as we look at difference in here, Ikriest win this game, there's a problem. Metal a second, Xfactor is ahead by 10 metal, and that number is growing as we speak. Metal produced is pretty close. It says there's a 4% difference, but it's still only like, you know, we're talking 100 or so metal. Energy is technically advantage Ikriest here in terms of energy a second, but still. So many LLTs, and these incisors just roam straight through. Losing how many metal extractors? 1, 2, 3, 4 metal extractors, and more maybe about to die as these incisors keep going. But that army value is now completely gone. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. There's a lot of metal now to be had. 1.3k and 800 here, purely for Ikriest to nom on up. And Ikriest just pumping more and more blitzes out. Lots and lots of blitzes. So I believe, yeah, the changes they're working on here is the Season 3 changes, which basically nerfs the incisor a little bit, buffs the blitz at the same time, which is why we see the incisors not winning out so much. Range decrease is now a range of 210. Still slightly more range than the blitz, but still, this may be a potential big damage here. Oh, and if it goes north, Ikriest has got a lot of metal extractors. Xfactor really struggling for energy right now. These guys do require energy to shoot, so they're not going to be getting as much shots off as they would like. Basically, anytime you see that symbol means that it kind of wants to do something and is unable to do it. Due to these armed metal extractors, though, they do manage to shut down that blitz push. But a big group is forming along the bottom here. Another 16, if not more. How much speed are we talking on a blitz now? Now, bear in mind, this is still in testing. 101 speed on a blitz as opposed to an incisors 86. Wow, they're a lot quicker. Basically means that an incisor cannot run away from a blitz whatsoever. Yeah, with you now have to basically intercept a blitz with an incisor, but That's it. This is going to fight. It's going to go terribly for X-Factor as a huge amount of blitz bear down on X-Factor's incisors and gets them completely surrounded. Huge army loss there for X-Factor. And not only that, but leaving 1.7k metal just laying there in the center. And now as the stouts start rolling off the production line, we see a choice of second vehicle factory for X-Factor with pounders and blitzes coming out, the staple of the Cortex lineup. But how much land is X-Factor going to lose before then? Incisors are trying to do their thing, but it's not going to be enough. The pounders are a long way out yet, as they're only just entering on screen now. The brutes just getting absolutely destroyed by the flanking damage of the blitzes here. And this is a very strong force that is slowly getting whittled down just by the amount of armored metal extractors around and things getting caught up. But X-Factor's commander in a potentially risky position here. We have his things selected, so you can see his energy capacity. Goes for a D-gun. Now, this is enough tanks that he may be able to have kited the commander and gone for a commander snipe here, but realistically, Ikriest is in a pretty good position. He's winning army value-wise. His metal is still hard. Pounders still cause a bit of problem for tanks just with the stagger they kind of inflict. Not as much as they used to, it seems, as these tanks are still able to move with 2 pounders shooting them pretty hard. They used to have a lot more impulse. I could be wrong though. I haven't looked at the patch notes properly yet. I mean, they're also, it's not official and it's not released yet, so I might do a video about when it actually becomes true, but for now, this is all testing, all take it with a grain of salt. But army value is looking a big problem here for X-Factor as he just keeps losing more and more units. He's not able to really group up his units enough. And just look at the amount of stouts here. We've got 25 stouts with more on its way. All of this metal is going to Ikriest for him to build more and more tanks. And the amount of brutes on the map are nowhere near. And I would look at what Coochie's on about. It looks like a bunch of blitzes have been produced rather than tanks here to make a big push on the top side, whilst the commander, X-Factor, and the army of Ikriest is busy on this south side. There is a big chunk, actually, of incisors up here that will make short work of all of those defenses. But because of that change in production, we can see Ikriest is starting to look a bit short of healthy units. X-Factor with a lot of build power in the back here, just slowly eating up this metal. And a big mistake here is Ikriest groups up his forces in one bull, which is exactly what we need. But what the heck happened?
Battle ended.
Okay, well, I missed that, so we're going to do an instant replay. Okay, so here we go. We see the blitzes that were at the top making their way along. We figured that they were just going to go straight along, and they actually were set that way. X-Factor's moving his commander out of the LLT line where that big fight's happening at the back. Obviously, X-Factor's attention completely on that, and X-Factor just walks. Big mistake. X-Factor just walks straight into the ball of blitzes and dies. So that's all it took, was he was just not aware of just how many blitzes there were and managed to get his commander stuck in a bad spot, leaving behind but a little gingerbread man. Well, what are your thoughts on what the new balance patch has in store for you? Barcast did a very good video about what can be made of the new patch notes. Technically, they're not patch notes. It's just an idea of what's coming on. But let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.